Good evening, class of 2015, parents, friends, and faculty. My name is Tom Pasquini, and I'm a six-year senior here on the Hilltop. It seems it was only yesterday that I was bringing my nervous daughter and my costumed son to their first formal dinner at KUA, and now I'm about to set off on a new adventure, just like all of you. Since then, we've grown together. I've learned that as much as you hate math problems, you dislike writing about them in journals even more. I've learned that food is better than conduct units for settling down cellists on a Friday night. And I've learned that you are a curious, inventive, creative, thoughtful, and adventurous community. Class of 2015, you have left your mark on KUA, and you will be very much missed. Today, I feel humbled to have received the faculty cup from you, and I am honored to be here with you tonight on the eve of your graduation to deliver one final KUA lecture. I hope that you haven't selected me because of the theatrics from convocation, because frankly I was raised Catholic and there's no way I'm doing that in a church. It isn't every day that 100 seniors invite you to give a Friday night talk. You can see that I've changed from my brown jacket into my gray suit. Recently, I've been thinking a lot about leaving home, about keeping in touch with friends, and about the finite speed of life. Tonight I would like to share with you some thoughts about the nature of space and time. But since I've been allotted only 10 minutes and have been asked to keep the homework assignments to a minimum, we will need to work quickly. Scientifically, space and time were considered distinct until Einstein constructed his theories of special and general relativity around the turn of the 20th century. There are some notable examples in science fiction that predate Einstein's theory. Specifically, H.G. Wells' The Time Machine, where he writes, "Any body, any real body, must have extension in 4 directions. It must have length, breadth, thickness, and duration." The idea that time can be treated like a spatial dimension makes sense. We move through both space and time. There are distances between events in space and time. And things change in both space and time. The only difference is that we have absolutely no control over our motion through time. An analogy from the distant past might help make sense of how space and time might be considered interchangeable. Imagine that you are attending KUA when it first went coeducational in 1840, about 175 years ago. Parents, you would no doubt enjoy the fact that tuition was under $100, but it would have been difficult to send your children as far away as Meriden. Hanover would have been hours away by horse, and from Boston it would take about a week to get to KUA. New York, more than a week, and anything past the Mississippi River would have been months. Asia? I don't think so. Students, think about communicating with your family about what's happening at school. You send out a letter, no telephone for another 30 years or so, with the happy news, "Mom, I got an A on my math test today." Well, a day, a week, a month, a year later, when your mother reads the happy news, she knows that where you are is necessary to figure out when you earned your A. The further away you are in space, the further back in time that A was earned. If Mom lives in Boston and receives the message in June, she were probably talking about your final exams. If she lives in California, it was more likely from the fall. So what did graduation mean in 1840, as friends went their separate ways? The people you confided in, worked with, laughed with, and played with for years were headed off to different parts of the country and different parts of the world. You might never see them again. Today, I'm headed to the opposite side of the world, and it hasn't even occurred to me that my family might lose touch with the people we care most about. Because in the last 2 centuries, our technology has advanced to the point where it is possible to communicate nearly at the speed of light. When you send a text message to your classmate, as some of you might be thinking about doing right now, that information travels at the speed of light to a cell tower about 3 miles away in Plainfield. That takes about 10 microseconds. It then travels at the speed of light to Concord, where the server tells the signal that's coming in that your friend's phone is here in Plainfield, so the information zips back, taking about another 100 microseconds, and then it arrives on your friend's phone in under a millisecond. In fact, that message can reach anyone, anywhere in the world in under a second, which makes it possible for you to have a Skype conversation with your friends in Asia and not notice that they're not in the same room as you. The sound of their voice reaches you faster than the speed of sound. 2 weeks ago, I saw your erstwhile classmate Dhananjay in the dining hall on someone's phone. Our planet has never felt smaller. But as quickly as you will be able to access information, as easily as you will be able to maintain relationships with Facebook, Skype, and Instagram, your time is still limited. You may be able to travel anywhere in the globe within 24 hours, but you only have about 60 or so or more years before you pass peacefully from this world. You can choose, in fact, you must choose how you will spend those minutes, those days, and those years from this point forward. You may feel that this is obvious, but I want you to think in our last few minutes together about what is happening right now. It is a beautiful Friday night, and here you are, all dressed up, sitting in a church, listening to a lecture on metaphysics. Is that what you really choose to be doing? Carl Sandburg, the American author and poet, said, "Time is the coin of your life. It is the only coin you have, and only you can determine how it will be spent. Be careful lest you let other people spend it for you." As children, you had few decisions to make about how you spent your days. Perhaps after school you had piano lessons, or hockey practice, or a math tutor, or something like that. You may have spent your summers with your family, seeing the world, relaxing, or studying. Maybe you enjoyed these things, maybe you didn't. The way you spent your time was a reflection of your family's values. As high school students, the way you have spent your time at KUA has reflected our values. We value academic mastery, and you've spent your fair share of time in the classroom. We value personal responsibility for homework and commitments. We value creativity that we celebrate with our dance shows, art gallery openings, and theater performances. We value healthy bodies, teamwork, and fair play in our sports. We value relationships with each other and within our community, attested to by our twice-weekly meetings and many meals, like tonight's dinner, spent making awkward conversation in uncomfortable clothes. If, as I've heard mumbled so often, KUA feels like a prison sometimes, it is because you cannot spend your time as you please. Your lives have been scheduled to align with KUA's values and KUA's mission. And now, you are free. The technology you have at your disposal can bring a world of information to you and can take you anywhere in the world. But you will choose how you spend your limited time. Coaches will want you to fit in one more workout. Professors will have suggested reading lists. Bosses will have special projects that need attention. Children will need all the love you can give them. Humanity is awash with problems that need solving, and you need personal time to reflect and relax. How will you spend your time? The choices you will make are the truest expression of your values. You will show how you value knowledge, family, careers, relationships, money, health, prestige, and humanity by the energy and the time that you invest in them? How will you spend your time? It isn't really a fair question to assign for homework, particularly on a night as busy as this one. But you have your entire summer to work on an outline, years to work on a rough draft, and the rest of your life to work on the revisions. How will you spend your time? Class of 2015, I very much look forward to your responses. Our time tonight has passed, and our time at KUA, at least for now, is nearly at an end. On behalf of the faculty, I thank you for all the time and energy you've committed to the KUA community. I congratulate you for all that you have accomplished, and I wish you luck and safety in your adventures through space-time.